Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we are reviewing the CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof Foundation. So I got this from Boots for £7.50. I believe CYO is a new brand introduced in America and it's been brought to the UK exclusively to Boots. Now I haven't seen it in store, so I did buy this online. And £7.50 I think is quite a reasonable price for a foundation. So packaging wise, this is a kind of cheap plasticky bottle, but it does come with a pump, which is really good. But it is £7.50, and so it doesn't really matter that much to me the packaging it's in, as long as the foundation works. So I did watch a review on this before I bought it by the tailor, so you should go and check that out. I'll link her channel down below. This is the shade 101. But she said that this shade was too light for her, so I'm really hoping that this is a good shade match for me. I'll insert some swatches right here so you can see how the shades compare to other foundations I own. So this is the CYO Long Lasting Lifeproof Foundation in the shade 101. This is the Body Shop Fresh Nude Foundation in the shade Chelsea Porcelain. This is the Rimmel Match Perfection Foundation in the shade Light Porcelain. This is the MAC Studio Sculpt Foundation in the shade NC15. So this foundation does come in 15 shades. And I had a look online and there don't seem to be that many dark shades. There seem to be like a few light shades and mostly kind of middle tones, but there seem to be only like a couple of dark shades, which I don't think is very inclusive of those of a darker complexion. However, these are just pictures online. They may look different in real life. The darkest shade may look really dark. I don't know, I only have the lightest shade. Online it also lists the undertones, so it does have a kind of grid and a list of the shade names with all the undertones next to it, which I think is quite nice for people that do have quite a yellow undertone or a pink undertone. The shade 101 is for neutral undertones, which I think kind of best suits my skin, neutral to pink. So let's have a look at the claims. So it says this foundation is medium coverage, 24-hour shift, feels light, looks smooth, never cakey. Skin looks flawless yet natural, lasts all day. Skin feels moisturised, transfer and smudge proof, comfortable to wear. So it looks like it's in, it says, with 15 medium coverage shades, virtually everyone can get in on the action. Yeah, okay, 15, as if that's a lot of shades. So it also says that this foundation is infused with vitamin E, which is supposed to be really good for moisturising the skin. My skin does respond quite well to vitamin E, so I'm hoping that this will also moisturise the skin as it wears, although I'm hoping it doesn't kind of pull the moisture out of the foundation and into my skin and leave it looking quite dry. So if you're excited to see how this foundation wears on my skin, give this video a thumbs up. I would appreciate it if you could press the subscribe button down below and then you'll be notified every time that I upload. So yeah, let's get started. I prep my skin off camera with the ordinary 100% organic cold pressed Moroccan argan oil, and I'm really liking it. It's really helping out with the dry patches on my face. I've been using it once in the morning before my makeup and once at night. I definitely feel like it's really helping keep my skin really nice and moisturised. As you're already aware, we have this foundation that I'm going to put on my face. My skin is looking really red and broken out today. Got some nice beautiful spots coming up. Yay for Jess. So this is what you get with one pump. And as always, I'm going to one side with a brush, so we're going to use my e.l.f. Ultimate Blending Brush. And on the other side, I'm going to use my Real Techniques sponge. It's going on really nice and smooth actually. So far I'd say it's kind of medium coverage. You can still see my spots coming through here, but the redness is a hell of a lot lessened. You can't see many other blemishes. My freckles are still coming through up on my forehead, so it's definitely more medium coverage. It isn't full coverage, but it is looking like really nice and smooth, really natural, like quite a skin finish. Now you can see the brush strokes a bit, so I think once I've blended the other side out with the sponge, I would go over the brush side and see if I can kind of smooth it out a little bit. So actually, all over, this is looking like a shade match for me, which is really rare. I haven't ever had a foundation that's actually a shade match. On the sponge side, it's looking a bit thinner, so it's more of a light medium coverage. I feel like the sponge soaked up a bit more of the product, but it looks a bit more of a kind of natural skin finish. It looks a bit more luminous, whereas the side with the brush looks a bit more matte, so the sponge has definitely added a bit of moisture back in. Yeah, but I quite like medium to full coverage, so I think I'd go back in with a layer all over with the brush and then smooth it out with the sponge. I have applied the foundation more evenly to my face. I feel like it looks really nice. It's a really nice kind of dewy, like luminous finish. It looks quite skin-like. I would definitely recommend applying it with a brush. It is buildable. You can get a couple of layers on there, and it's now, I'd say, a low full coverage. So if you like quite a high full coverage, it's not for you. And it's the right shade. So for people with very pale complexions, this would work. It is settling a little bit, if you can see, into my lines. So when I do things like that, it does settle quite heavily into the lines. So it may not be for people that have more fine lines. However, if you don't, I think it's really, really pretty. And I think you could easily just go back in with the sponge and soften those lines until the foundation sets, or if you like to powder, until you powder, that kind of thing. I'm going to now apply the rest of my makeup and I will be right back. I painted the rest of my face and I think that the foundation really works. I'm really enjoying it actually. The only downside I feel is that it does settle quite a lot into your lines. So when I raise my eyebrows to do all of my eye makeup, it does settle more into these lines, and you do have to kind of grab a sponge and kind of dab that out until it does set a bit. So this foundation may not be for people that have more fine lines. But it does have like a really nice still satin finish, products blended fine on top of it. It does look really nice and I am really enjoying it. Partially because it's one of the few shades that has ever matched me, but also because it just feels really nice on the skin. It looks really natural. Yeah, so I am really enjoying it. The rest of the products I used on my face are, you'll have to forgive me, I did drop my makeup bag on the floor and break some of my makeup. For example, the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour powder that I used on my cheeks is now in two. Well done, Jess. Smooth move. So on my cheeks and forehead, I used the Rimmel Natural Bronzer in Sun Bronze. So for contour, I used the e.l.f. Eyebrow Duo in Light. So this powder shade here is a really nice contour shade for pale skin. It just blends on so well. It's nice and cool toned. It just works really well. For concealer, I used the Collection Long Lasting Concealer in Fair with a bit of the LA Girl Pro Coverage HD Fat Concealer in White, just to brighten things up a little bit. For my blush, I used the Miss Sporty Instago blusher in Flushed Pink. For my eyebrows, I used the Makeup Revolution Redemption Iconic 2 palette. For my eyes, I used the Makeup Revolution Good As Gold palette and the Urban Decay Naked 2. For mascara, I used the Origins Ginseng mascara. For lips, I used the Ciate London Liquid Velvet in the shade Swoon. For my setting spray, I used the Mario Badescu facial spray with aloe herbs and rose water. So it's about 11 o'clock. I will come back to you in a few hours so you can see how the foundation's holding up. Hey guys, it's now just after 5 o'clock, which means I've been wearing the foundation for 6 hours. So I'm still liking the coverage. It's still quite full coverage all over my face, except my nose where it has rubbed off a little bit. So if you're looking for something transfer proof, this isn't it, although it does claim to be. It's only looking dry around the bits that I powdered, so perhaps that means I need a different powder, something like that, so I would try this with a different powder. But my forehead, where I haven't powdered, it's still looking really, really nice. So yeah, you can see here my forehead still looks really nice, which is normally my problem area. I think we'll see how it lasts through the 8 to 10 hour point. Hey guys, so it's like 8 o'clock and I thought I would give you the final foundation update. So I like it on my forehead. It's settled a bit into my lines, but it doesn't look too dry. It looks slightly dry, but I haven't ever met a foundation that looks not slightly dry. It looks really dry where I powdered. Like, this is definitely not the right powder for it. I would not recommend powdering with this for it. It still looks like a good shade match. Hasn't oxidised further. I quite like it. I think I'll definitely use it again. Maybe mixed in with another foundation to lighten it, or perhaps with the different powder. I think a different powder is definitely the way to go with this foundation. But it's really nice for really dry skin. I'd be very grateful if you could give this video a like if you enjoyed it and want me to do any more foundation reviews, and subscribe to my channel so you can see anytime I post a video.